Morning, Patriots. So the shit libs are out doing their victory march. Can you imagine the meltdown if and when this thing goes in Trump's favor? They never learn their lesson, do they? You know, what are they gonna do? Riot, cry, loot, steal? They've been doing all that already. Speaking of which, you see, Ted Wheeler in Portland has allowed this rioting to go on for months. In fact, Antifa's been there causing trouble for years. But it's really been crazy the last 6 months or so. So, 3 days after the election, he decides it's time to call in the National Guard. So you can't tell me all that stuff isn't totally political. It's just unbelievable. That place is a hellhole, Portland. So the COVID vaccine gets announced yesterday from Pfizer with a 90% success rate. And of course, as I touched on last video, they withheld the information. They didn't want to release it before the election, that the vaccine was ready. Total political hit job on Trump. And now you got the New York Bar Association, the attorneys up there, trying to figure out legally how they can mandate that New Yorkers are forced to get this vaccine. You know, that's the Dershowitzes of the world. They're all bad. Total overreach, sticking their hands in where it doesn't belong. They're gonna come down. Biden is with a mask mandate first day in office nationwide. Constitutionally, he can't do it, but he's gonna try and get the governors of each state together, and you know, he'll just basically hold some government funding or some initiative that state has going on that's supported by the federal government. They'll hold it over that governor's head and say, well, if you don't do this mask mandate, you don't get these federal funds. And I hope some of these states don't fold to that, but you know, they probably will. It's imperative that they get this vote count right. People will lose all faith in American politics if this steal is able to happen. But, you know, I think if we can get it up to the United States Supreme Court, you know, hopefully Clarence Thomas and Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett can get their retribution on Biden and the Democrats. Biden treated Clarence Thomas so horribly when, what was that, the 90s, early 90s, when Clarence Thomas was in front of that thing, and they accused him of all kinds of crazy stuff. Of course, it was all false. Same with Kavanaugh. So hopefully Clarence Thomas can have the last laugh in his contentious relationship with Joe Biden. We just need to get it up to the Supreme Court. Pennsylvania, on election night, there's video of this online, you can find it, on the ticker on the bottom of CNN. Flipped votes in the matter of seconds. Flipped 20,000 votes. Took them right from Trump and gave them to Biden. The exact number of votes Trump lost in real time, and they got credited to Biden. Now, how do these things happen? If there's not fraud going on, I don't know what else there is. And, you know, Bill Barr came out yesterday and said he's authorizing the DOJ to begin an investigation, and I'm glad he's out in front now. But you know, where was he the last week? I mean, as soon as on election night votes stopped getting counted, the Republican establishment should have been raising holy hell in the media. But they went into hiding. You know, they just went into hiding. They're allowing some of this stuff to go through. They hate Trump. They don't care if he's a Republican, Democrat. They hate Trump so bad, Trump's got to go. And they're going to lose the Republican base. I'm telling you right now, they're going to lose the Republican base. And they're on board with this Democrat agenda of open borders, the pro-abortion party, the pro-censorship party, corporate bailouts, supporting the Russian and Ukrainian oligarchs. I thought they were against the billionaires and millionaires, but, you know, the Democrat Party is the party of the coastal elites. They hate the middle class America. They need to tax the living hell out of them to pay for all their government initiatives and government programs, all while calling us racist and every term in the book. We're Nazis now. They call us Nazis. If that doesn't offend you, nothing's going to offend you. And it's time to stand up to these idiots so we can press the reset button in this country. So Biden's on his victory tour. He's making phone calls to leaders of other countries, exactly what they told Trump and Flynn was totally against the rules. Oh, you can't do that, blah, blah, blah. And of course, Biden's doing it. You know, and I hope if and when Trump is back for his second term, he holds Netanyahu of Israel, takes him to task on Bibi going out and congratulating Biden and all this. Trump, he's got to figure out who his friends are, you know, not only domestically but internationally. These leaders of other countries that take total advantage of the United States, and you know, Trump's pretty sharp, and I hope he realizes that Netanyahu is not his friend. You know, the people of Israel are great, but the Zionists, they control so much of American life, all media. And we need to get a hold on that. You know, we need to support Israel in the Middle East. But, you know, Bibi going out there prematurely and congratulating Biden, that should tell Trump all he needs to know right there. So we'll see what happens today. A lot of lawsuits are getting filed. Hopefully these states do the right thing. I think we have a good shot in Pennsylvania. If they stick to their state constitution and the rules of elections, that the legislature determines the legality of votes and which ones are valid votes and which ones aren't, Trump will win Pennsylvania. And then, you know, it's a full sprint to the White House after that. We'll see what happens today.